This lesson is part 2 of chapter 3. So we're going to begin this lesson by making sure that you have your book open to page 3-15, and we'll notice in our feature manager over here that we have one extruded boss, this feature right here. If you take a look at it, that feature was created with this sketch. We're now going to add another feature, and in order to do that we need to draw another sketch. Sketches need a plane to start on, and if you take a look, we're going to begin by selecting this surface, which is now created from our previous feature. So we're going to go to the Sketch tab, select the Sketch tool, and select this surface to draw on. Now normally I square up to the surface that I'm drawing on before I begin drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So if I'm going to click over the sketch, go normal 2, and now we're looking at it straight on. Also, the author doesn't tell you to do this, but this is going to prove to be helpful in just a moment. We're going to change my view over here to hidden lines visible. First thing we're going to draw is a circle, and then I'm going to come up and dimension that circle. So this circle has a diameter of 2. We also need to give it, whenever you draw a circle, you typically need to add 3 dimensions: the size of the circle and 2 location dimensions. So I'm going to select this edge and give it a location from that edge, which is 3. And then I'm going to select the top and select the center and say how far down this is, which is 2.25. Alright, now that, notice it said it's fully defined. If we were only drawing a circle there, we'd be all set, but we're going to add some more to this. So I'm going to click out of the dimension. I'm going to bring myself normal 2 again, and we're going to draw some vertical lines, and we're going to have those lines snap to the quadrant point. So I'll show you what that means. If I take my line tool and I hover over this position on my, whoops, grab my line tool again. If I hover over the 9 o'clock position on my circle, if this were 12 noon and 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, you'll notice that I can snap right to that spot. And because I've changed the view to hidden lines, as I get down to this hidden line, notice that I get this coincidence symbol that tells me I'm going to snap right to that. So I'm going to bring a line over till I line up with that 3 o'clock spot and close that off. We've now again have a fully defined sketch. If we jump forward to page 3-16, we're going to introduce the trim tool, which is something that you're going to use quite a bit. It's up here in the sketch tools. The option you want to select of the trim options is trim to closest, and we're going to get rid of this line. So we just have this shape right now. Get out of the trim command. Alright, and we're now going to jump forward to page 3-17, and we're ready to take a look at extruding this feature again. Now, the author runs you through a number of different extrude options, so let's take a look at those. I'm going to exit the sketch. Again, it's important that your sketch is selected. What I mean by that is if I click over here, it's no longer selected. So when I go to extrude, it doesn't know what I want to extrude. You may get this message. You can click on this caret and select the sketch here, and now it knows what to extrude. Or if that's not open, you can just hit escape and then come back and select the sketch and hit extrude again to make sure SolidWorks knows what you're going to extrude. Now, I can do a blind extrusion, or I can do an up to a surface. There are several different options. I'm not going to preview all of these. I'm just going to go with the final option, which is through all, which is going to bring that sketch all the way up to here, and hit OK. I'm going to switch my view back to shaded with edges and click forward to page 318. Actually, that's going to show you some of those options, what they're going to look like. Take a moment to understand that you can extrude to up to the next solid object. You can extrude to a vertex. You can extrude to a surface, and you can extrude a certain distance. We've already done that. And you can extrude to a different object. We don't have that. We're not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to jump all the way, and then we have a mid-plane extrusion, which is going to extrude in both directions. Again, the author selected through all, which is what we've already done. So we're now on page 321, and we have our part. He's talking about the fact that SolidWorks has merged the results. In other words, it took these two solids and combined them into one. Click forward, and we're going to add fillets. All right, so fillet command is in the middle up here under features. This is a solid feature that's done. You can do 2D sketch fillets. We'll talk more about those later on. Or you can do a 3D fillet, which is probably more popular. We're going to do a full preview. And we're going to set the value to 0.125, or 1/8 of an inch. And then the fillet type is here. It's asking us what we want to fillet. I'm going to make a box around what we want to fillet, and it's going to select the entire part. All right, believe he may have selected using, if I click forward, using the lasso command. I'm not sure. All right, let's go ahead and hit OK. Hopefully everything is okay. If you drew your part correctly, it should look something like this. And we can hit save, and this is it. Done with Chapter 3, Part 1. Your next assignment would be to move on and go ahead and try that exercise.